popular one to come to. Please call the center at 440-593-5273. Use extension 310, and they will help you get registered for that event. And always news from our friends at UH Conneaut Medical Center. If you or a friend are between the ages of 40 and 64 years of age, and you've been postponing getting a mammogram done for financial reasons, don't put it off any longer. They have funds available to help folks with this if that's where they are. Paula is the person you want to speak with. 440-998-0695. 440-998-0695 to see if you qualify for a no-cost screening mammogram. And of course, that's why they do some of their fundraising events, to have monies ready for things such as that. All right, reminder, tomorrow, of course, here in Conneaut at the Human Resource Center is the Veterans Program and Lunch. They do this every year now. It's a big event. It's tomorrow, the 1st, November 1, at the Human Resource Center. The program's going to start at 10 o'clock. Lunch is going to be at 11:30. The guest speaker is Ben Schwartfigure, Director of Veterans Service Commission in Ashtabula. Veterans will eat for free, and guests will pay $5.50. This is sponsored by the VFW, the American Legion, and the Seniors Together program at the Conneaut Human Resource Center. So hopefully many folks will be able to turn out for that event. All right, what we're going to do at this time, we're going to go ahead and take a break. I didn't get any more calls about our snowfall event. We're going to take a break, and we're going to kind of set up for our guests coming in for the 9 o'clock hour. So we'll be back here in a few minutes with more Sunrise Live for you in just a bit. Hang on, we'll be coming back.
one has mesothelioma or any other asbestos-related cancer, call now. Asbestos manufacturers sold deadly asbestos materials to thousands of companies, putting workers at risk. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be entitled to a portion of these funds and receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or ever going to court.
For your free legal consultation, call 1-800-296-2512. That's 1-800-296-2512. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Your ATEC, your advantage. High school students, the programs at the Ashtabula County Technical and Career Campus can give you the competitive edge you need.
So I chose to go to college. I was way above the other students, and my professors saw that.
See your counselor to sign up for your showcase today. Or call 440-576-6015 or visit atech.edu. Your ATEC, your advantage.
ATEC education for success.
They really go out of their way at Greg Sweet to help us.
Greg Sweet definitely does save me money.
I've purchased over 30 cars with Greg Sweet over the years, and I've never had a bad experience in this organization.
Honestly, I wouldn't go anywhere else.
I would definitely buy another car from Greg Sweet.
You could pay more for a car, but you'll have to go somewhere else.
It's always very fair and reasonable at Greg Sweet.
You always get a sweet deal at Greg Sweet.
At Greg Sweet Ford, we're gonna make your day.
We thought, what is the cost of doing more? Of searching for ways we can help? What could it hurt to strive for better solutions whenever possible? To think ahead and be part of creating a healthier planet. And so that's why we're revealing the Defense Soap Shower Gel packaging, which uses 70% less plastic and has a self-sealing valve, which allows for drop-by-drop control for less waste and less mess. Defense Soap. Defend what you have built.
Welcome. You don't need to do it. I'm live, but could you scoot into your right a little bit? Just there. I almost had an arm cut off there. Sorry about that. Welcome back to Sunrise Live here. It's Thursday morning. I think you can tell it's Halloween. We kind of decorated up the studio here today all day long. I've got some great friends here that I want to introduce to you this morning. Made time to come over here on our show, and we're so glad to have you. Now, you three are all new to Sunrise Live here, so welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think of the best way to put you through the process. No, we're going to make this easy. Let me go in order of who's sitting next to me that you see on the camera here. I've got April Ross-Kelly.
Yep.
I've got Amanda Soltis. Did I get these right?
Yep.
And Amanda Clue. Not C-L-U-E though, by the way. Clue. All right. They're early intervention folks.
Yes.
I'm going to be the I don't know all about this, and I need you to help me understand what that. Tell me what it is you do and what is this early intervention and what it's all about. Whoever, start wherever.
So we provide services for children ages birth to 3 years of age. If they have a developmental delay, we provide services in the home, and they're through tax dollars, so it's at no cost to the
So
family.
services in the home to help out the families as well. I didn't realize it was all like that.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this kind of work then?
Since 2011, I began as a temporary early intervention specialist, and then got in. I was able to realize how valuable it was.
Right.
And the dynamic of working in the home with families is completely different. I went to school to work in a classroom, so to see working with families in the home and how useful it is to see family routines, I think is really what makes the program so strong.
Really? Amanda number 2.
Yes.
What do you do and how did you get into this?
Well, actually, Amanda and I worked together
Okay.
in 2011.
Amanda squared.
Yes.
That's how it works.
I was a part of then Help Me Grow as a home visitor myself.
Okay.
And I left, my husband's in the military. I left Ohio in 2012.
Thank you for service, by the way.
Thank you. My son was born in 2013.
Okay.
So we moved back home
Okay.
after that. I currently work at Glen Bay as an intervention specialist there to help people get drug and alcohol treatment, but I noticed there was something not quite right about my child.
When did you first, just for your story, real quick, when and how and what made you notice something wasn't just
We moved
work?
back home when he was 2.5.
Okay,
And he used to chitter like a squirrel instead of speak.
some noises, like,
Yeah.
and you think something's not
Something's
quite up to
not right.
par here.
And because I worked with Help Me Grow and early
Yeah.
intervention, I knew I could call Amanda, and that's exactly what I did.
Did you even have a clue what it might be, or just knew where to go for help?
I had an inclination.
Okay, so you called
Just didn't want to
you,
put a label on it just yet. Yeah.
and how did that go, and you figured things out, or how are things going?
Well, great. My son was diagnosed as autistic when he was 3.
Okay.
Also with ADHD.
Okay.
And we had early intervention for 6 months from 2.5 till he was 3. And then they were able to help us get into the Asheville Area City School System with their like intervention services.
Mhm.
Through the Early Learning Center. Yeah, and so my son is 6 now and in
Wow.
kindergarten.
How do you feel, how's he been doing? How's this
Amazing.
worked for him?
Amazing, and we would not be where we're at today if we hadn't started with.
So definitely made the
Oh, yeah.
difference in your
100%.
family.
100%. 100%.
And as best, how does your son feel about that? I mean, is he,
Oh,
kind of
he-
happy-go-lucky kid
oh.
and doing well and
Well,
driving you crazy?
absolutely, yes. But he's also the sweetest boy.
Aw.
He does understand that he's different,
Okay.
but he knows that different doesn't mean bad. He knows different is just different.
And a lot of this for him and your family is because of early
Right,
intervention.
absolutely.
You're just proof that that helps
Right,
and works. How cool is
absolutely.
that?
Yep.
Well, then we come to April.
Yes.
What's yours? And by the way, sisters, if you didn't catch it, what's your story with this and what you do?
Well, I am a site supervisor at Asheville County Head Start, so
Okay.
I'm in charge of teaching staff.
You
so
right on Main over there? I
yes.
live down the road away.
Yes,
I'm an
yes,
Ashtabula
I'm
guy.
over there.
All right.
I'm actually in the back building by the playground, so I
Okay,
get to have all
I
the
know,
fun.
right where you are.
Yeah, and so, well, I went to school like Amanda 1.0 to be to be a teacher, and so I taught, and I was a teacher at Head Start, and I noticed children that maybe had some developmental delays or some cognitive delays,
Okay.
and we'd heard of early intervention. I didn't know much about it, but I knew about like the Asheville County or Asheville City Schools Early Learning Center, which is a preschool program
Okay.
that Head Start partners with to get kids that qualify for services in the public schools with those services.
Okay.
My story is that I was pregnant and had a little girl 2.5 months early.
Okay.
And so my daughter was born premature and was also growth restricted, and so she didn't get what she needed to stay in my belly longer than 7.5 months.
Okay.
So she was early, and when I had her in 2014, I knew that my sister had already worked for Help Me Grow. We planned to get Help Me Grow regardless
Okay.
of if she was early or not. So when we got home, she was 3 months old, but she was really 6 weeks old.
Okay.
And so we got early intervention. I called my sister Amanda, and we then talked to Amanda and had her come out and evaluate my child. And then when I had more concerns, I had her come back out again.
And have you found, how old is she by now, 4 or 5
my
years?
daughter Sarah is 5 years old.
All right.
And she's doing her 3rd year of preschool.
Yeah.
But she's smart as a tack.
What do you think these services that you did get into help with her? How did they help
well,
her?
for me, in particular, I was a scared parent with a
I'm sure.
baby that was
Sure.
medically fragile, and that was everything was scary and uncertain.
Sure.
So to have early intervention come into my home with a home visitor to hear me out and to listen to me as a scared parent, not the educator in the back of my head, but that scared parent.
But see, isn't that funny with any of us, with our
Yeah.
kids? I don't care what you have upstairs.
yeah.
It's your kid.
Right.
And you're going to have that emotional tie, that
Right.
feel of, I want the best for everybody does.
Right, and I
for my
knew,
child.
and I knew what my baby needed.
Yeah.
And I knew how to get it, but I wouldn't have known that if I didn't have the connection, ironically, through family and working where I work.
Okay.
To know that these services are available. I mean, I had a home visitor come in my home twice a month work with me and my child, get to know our family, help us get her into preschool at the Early Learning Center,
Yeah.
and now she's a thriving, wild and crazy nutball 5-year-old.
But see, well, the kid part of her, still the kid
Yeah,
part of her, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But there's growth you've obviously
Yeah.
seen because of getting early.
Right.
Well, give me some of that feeling of, you both are educators, could be teaching anywhere. Why does this work for you so much? Why do you love to be in this kind of world? What?
Oh, that's a good
I mean,
question.
particularly what I love is,
I think I could talk for days on that.
I know, just how early intervention works when you do go into the home.
Yeah.
There's so many things at play, and you get to see the routines real time. I get to see, okay, so this is how mealtime's working for you.
Okay.
Okay, so what are your struggles? Or when we're playing with your own toys,
Yeah.
where are they struggling with this to communicate? You know, I have a little boy who has trouble telling his mom to sit down right. He wants to tell her, I want you to sit down and play with me, but right here in this one area.
Okay.
So I'm able to see he's trying to tell you, and we can work on strategies to help them meet those goals that they have.
Okay.
Whereas, if we weren't in that home setting, you would hear, but it's so much easier to see, and I think it's more convenient for families.
How do
too.
families, I'll go to you in just a sec,
Sure.
how do families react being in their, I mean, is it to feel intrusive? Are they welcoming you? How does it work?
So I think all of us have the setup when we're on the phone. We're like, don't worry about us.
Yeah.
Your home is fine. It's supposed to be messy, whatever.
It's
you
our
have
home.
kids.
Yeah, I get it.
It is what it is. We're gonna come in. We're no judgmental. We're not judgmental
wanna help you.
whatsoever. We want to help. So just live your life. We'll come in and on your schedule. And I think it works because they're able to be there on their own time, whatever works for them. We go in the evening sometimes, whatever is more convenient for them.
Okay, and for you, you wanted to jump on that bandwagon a little bit?
I kind of lost my train of thought, but that's
Sorry.
That's okay.
Like, why
Well,
is this really something for you? You
well,
could be doing anything, but you're doing this.
I'm doing this because, well, one, I love kids to begin with. I'm an overgrown child. Anyone who knows me, I'm an overgrown kid.
Yes.
And
Sis agrees.
Sis agrees. And so when I got into preschool,
Yeah.
and I noticed that these children that were coming to me at 3 years old, like something wasn't quite right, and their parents were scared.
Okay.
And didn't know where to go, and didn't know what to do, and didn't know how to get there. And so I used my experience, not only as a parent, but also as an educator, to help parents that are like me going through this process. And I know as an educator that early intervention is so vitally important because those first 3 years of life is when that brain is totally developing and getting all the connections and all that good fun stuff together. And research has shown, and Amanda could probably attest to this, both Amandas could attest to this, that early intervention is that gap, the gap to the bridge to the gap of getting those kids ready for kindergarten.
Right.
And that's what Head Start does. It's a kindergarten readiness program. And if we can get these kids services at 2 months old to 5 years old, we have
Okay.
set them up for success in the classroom.
Because
You're diving right, go right ahead.
Because with early intervention, honestly, without getting, Jackson has a speech delay, Jackson might have a hearing issue, my son, if we didn't have these evaluations and the specialists coming into the home to help us see, even if I did see it,
Yeah.
but it took me forever to admit there was something different.
Okay.
And that's an honest parent right there.
Oh, I'm sure that's
You know,
very common, I suppose.
no one wants to label their child, no one wants to have their child be labeled by someone else. So when Amanda would come in the home and be like, he's a great kid, but this is a quirk, that maybe isn't typical. I hate to say normal because what is that?
Do some of them change, or do you find workarounds for like quirks or whatever kind of things you're talking about?
As my little guy has grown up, his quirks have changed.
Okay. Different ones, or some just go away?
Some
with
just go
natural?
away,
Okay.
he just kind
Okay.
of fixates on something
Okay.
else.
Yeah. Okay.
Keeping the living room light off at all times has stayed, which
But
is nice.
that's him.
Well, you know what? He's saving on my electric bill,
There you
so
go.
I am not upset
Look at the
about it.
positive side. I gotcha.
But now, I mean, he went from not being able to speak to at 6, he can tell you how he's feeling, what he's thinking, what a good choice is, what a bad choice is. You can't sit there, mommy.
And you
because
kind of know he knows what he's talking about and can articulate this to you now.
Yep.
what a difference just the
Yeah.
communication part probably makes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what he's thinking, and that's where we're struggling now. You can get some of that.
Right.
How do people, who uses your service? How do people know you're there, and who
Oh.
can use, how do they get your
Oh, that's a good
services? How
question.
does this happen?
So a lot of times parents can refer themselves, and I don't know if they know that always.
I
but,
was going to say, do they know
we
everything
have
out
a
there?
local number, but
Yeah.
and I should know off the top of my head the main number where they can call in. But I'd be more than happy to give it. But they can call in themselves. A lot of times it's doctor referrals. If a child's born premature or drug addicted, with prematurity, a lot of the times the hospital's child find specialists will send them over to us. Or if Children's Services is involved because of the drug addiction or something like that, then we go in and we help those babies.
Okay.
They come from a lot of
Well, as I
different
say,
areas.
you're seeing all sorts of kids with all sorts of abilities, disability, wherever they are. So there's a spectrum of everything. Is it? Would your advice be, folks watching out here, that maybe have kids or grandkids or family members that are struggling with some of this, and think maybe this is something we could use? Is it always helpful to make that call and find out, or are there folks you at all?
Absolutely.
I take it you can help anybody in some form, is the point.
Yeah.
Whether everybody's different, but there's helps for people out there that are struggling with this.
Yeah, we have a lot of families actually who might come in and say, I'm not sure. Can you please just evaluate my child?
Okay.
See where they fall in relation to like a typical child. So
Okay.
we do the evaluation. We go, you know what, your kid's doing great.
Okay.
You don't need our services right now. And so then they'll say, okay, but 6 months down the road, they might call as long as they're
As
before
growth or
3.
things are
and
going
say,
on.
You
So
know what,
your
it's not
ages again
improving.
cover birth to 5, what, 3?
Mhm.
The early
And then
intervention.
we help transition them into the school district if they
Okay.
qualify.
Yeah.
So the most satisfying thing I'm taking it about what all of you end up doing is the kids and the families that you work with.
Yep.
Do you get some feedback to you, or do you just know the job's well done, or do you hear things, or tears, or smiles, or?
You get that all the time.
What do you-
Even at Head Start, I've suggested early intervention to some of our families.
Okay.
Because the family, the parent, is the child's first and most important teacher.
Okay.
And so we look to them because they know their child best. I'm just learning about your child, but you know them best. You
Okay.
know those quirks. You know the things that are going to set them off or that are going to make them smile. You know that. I'm just figuring it out. So
Okay.
we look to them, but at the end of it, when I know for me as the parent, when my time, when early intervention was done, when my daughter turned 3 and they said, this is our last visit, I was bummed. And because I'd gotten close with my home visitor.
Sure.
And my daughter loved her. And it was then a change that we kind of had to explain why she wasn't going to come to our house anymore. But at the end of it, I valued it so much because my daughter was making strides and performing well and doing the things that I knew she was capable of doing, just wasn't able to get it out just yet.
Okay.
And so as the parent, I was very happy with that. And as on the teaching end of it, you get the families that are like, my child is doing the things that I expected them to do or didn't even know I expected them to do because of you, because of your help, because you cared so much about us, to get to know us, to talk to us, to constantly follow up with us. That's what early intervention did for me, and that's what, like, me as an educator, I do for families, because now I have that experience to give to them.
Okay.
And it's super.
And I firmly believe, and I can probably speak to this for you as well.
Sure.
I firmly believe without early intervention, our children would not be at their capacity
anywhere where they're at.
for their capabilities
You
right
would have
now.
done your best, but it's,
I would have
you
done
just
my
know
best,
things now you
but
wouldn't have known.
Right, and without starting early
Okay.
and looking into the
And is it a
issues.
process that takes a little time?
It
It's not
is,
going to be tomorrow,
right.
it's all better.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because of some of the skills because not only do they come in the home and they work with our children, they're working with us too.
Right.
You know, and giving us feedback and saying, you know what, I see how his little quirk is,
Yeah.
maybe try this. And when they come back, okay, well that didn't work, let's try something else. We tried this and this is how this worked. And that may be something that they didn't know about and they're gonna take it to their next family. You know, so it's a very cohesive teamwork
Okay.
program. And without, I can't say this enough, without that early intervention, without the the
Support.
support that they give us as parents, our children, I firmly believe that our children would not be
Where they're at.
where they're at. And
Absolutely.
that's part of the reason why we're here today, because we absolutely are so grateful
Okay.
for the intervention they gave us.
Can I ask this question? Because, I know how things can go today. Is there, are we doing okay on the, I don't know if I want to use the word stigma side of things. Are the families nervous about what's going to happen with the kid down the road? Are there
I think
problems,
so.
or is it overhyped, or are there some real problems they'll face throughout their
I think-
schooling years
I
and
think
all that?
no matter what differently abled
Okay,
thing you're looking at, or disability or cognitive delay, I think you're always going to have some sort of stigma because some folks aren't educated about
okay,
what it is that it goes on with kids with autism or ADHD or that are premature and have developmental delays. Like,
Okay.
people don't understand those things because it's not their experience.
okay.
And so when it's not your experience, you don't educate yourself on it. But when it is your experience, you get hyper vigilant.
Okay.
And so you become that advocate, you become that cheerleader, you become the flag waver.
Or the tiger mom, I understand how this goes.
Absolutely. You're the mama bear, the papa
There
bear
you go.
in your family, and you're advocating
So
for your
education,
child.
just getting it out there that there's folks of, here's the ability spectrum, everybody's all over the place on this thing. Let's work and accept, because we all want everybody to be the best possible
Right.
citizen they can become someday, and whatever's best for them, let's get it there.
Yeah, and I make sure to also not say that I'm not qualified, one, to say that their child is disabled.
Okay,
I say they just do things a little bit differently.
okay.
Because that's not scary to a parent.
Right.
The word disability scares the bejesus out of a parent.
I know what you mean by
And
that.
so it freaks them out. So when you say, they're just a little bit different, and here's why I think that, and you come off as friendly and kind and understanding, that parent's gonna take you right in.
Yeah,
But if
they
you-
know the feel already
Exactly.
anyway, so.
And you come, like I come at it as, I'm a parent too,
Yeah.
my kid is differently abled, and here's how. And I share my story with my families at Head Start, the teachers I work with at Head Start,
Yeah.
because you're not in an island, you're not in a silo, you're not by yourself. And parents of differently abled kids often feel alone.
Yeah.
Do you have some info on maybe contacts or something that,
Yeah.
if you want to give us anything, that's fine, we can do that.
So to make a referral, you can call Ashtabula
Like a
County.
person could call themselves,
Yeah,
okay.
if you're a parent and you say, you know what, my child isn't quite saying what I think that they should be saying, or I can't get them to say,
Maybe growth
they're
markers
not
and
walking
things
where
like
maybe I
this,
think they should be
okay.
walking. You can call the Ashtabula County Board of Developmental Disabilities. That's where services are provided through.
Okay.
And the local number is 440-992-2111.
2111,
Yeah,
just
and
mark
they will
it.
pass it on to like the central number in.
Start there
Catalina.
though, 992-2111.
Yep.
Because mom or dad's gonna notice some of that first off, probably, is everything okay? I'm not quite sure. But look at the stories you're telling, early intervention, let's just say it works. It
Absolutely.
works and helps
100%.
people.
100%.
Is there anything you'd like to finish up with our talk today about early intervention to let folks know? Don't be afraid, don't be nervous, well, you're gonna be nervous to call,
Yeah,
let's
right.
face it, we just have those gut feelings, but
Yeah.
you gotta make that call if you need to.
Right.
When they call, maybe the best thing, what's gonna happen when they finally get to the number they need? I'm on the phone with something about my family, what happens to me at the point I make that contact?
So when you make the contact, they'll kind of be put into a system, and
Okay.
then we will get that referral.
Okay,
They will have something called a service coordinator
Okay.
contact them. They'll do all the intake paperwork, all that fun stuff. Get an idea of where their concerns are, and then an evaluation will take place to see if they're eligible for
and
the
again, some
program.
evaluations, you might need help, and some we might think something's a little different.
Yeah.
You're going, no, things check out pretty well for now.
Yeah.
It could go either way, but you
Sometimes
evaluate.
if they have a diagnosis,
Yeah.
they're automatically eligible. We just see
Okay.
if they have. We do an assessment to see if they even have a need for program planning
Okay.
services. But if they don't have a diagnosis to do the evaluation, we say, hey, you know what, your child could use some help. If you want some help, we're going to write something called an individualized family service plan.
Okay.
Where we write goals with the family for what they want to accomplish for their child, what they want to see their child doing, and everyday routines. And then we get the services started to work on those
And
goals
they
that have.
just, as we've heard, they work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They help.
So,
It can bring a little bit more peace to your family, make things work a little smooth. I mean, everybody wants the best you can do for your kid. All of us feel that way. Every parent
Absolutely.
does. This is just another option, that early intervention. Once they evaluate and if the need's there, they take care of it.
it doesn't hurt to call.
No. So 992-2111. Well, April, Amanda squared, thanks for visiting us today and helping explain some of this and really sharing your stories.
Thank you.
That's what gets to people. They hear, hey, I know what she's talking about. That's me too.
Yeah.
So listen up, make a phone call if you need to, 992-2111. We'll take a break and we'll have some more friends coming in here in just a little bit with Sunrise Live. It's Thursday morning, Halloween morning, October 31st. Welcome to our show. And yes, if you're, I get accused all the time. See that bucket last week? There's a bucket on the desk. It was heaped up over the top with candy when it started. And every day I get my callers calling, Jim, are you dipping into the bucket again? They're thinking I'm devouring all this candy in the studio. I won't lie, had a couple pieces here and there, but it's for our guests. So when you all leave, please take some Halloween candy if you're allowed to do that. I want to welcome some great new friends to the show again this morning. We had some great friends on just a little bit ago, and I'll introduce them in order of the people, like how they're sitting next to me like we did before. You are Jimmy Peterson.
Yes.
Welcome to the program. I'm glad to have you here at Sunrise Live.
Thank you.
You are Mariah Keister, and you are an SSA with the Ashtabula County Board of DD. Real quick, SSA means?
Service Support Administrator.
Service Support, and we'll get into that a little bit.
Pretty much I'm a case manager.
Case manager.
For Jimmy and Kathy.
So these two are people that you work with. Great. And then we've got Kathy Prime.
Yeah.
And I got you spelled right with a C. So you're here today on our show. First time ever. Thank you for coming. And Andrea Gardner. Now you're with Brighter Horizons?
Correct.
What do you do with them?
I'm a program manager. We're a residential provider, so I oversee all of the individuals in Ashtabula County.
Okay, now do you two work with each other? Like tell me, before we talk to everybody here, tell me kind of why are we here today? What do you want to tell us about? What's your stories we're sharing today?
Well, Jimmy, he actually gets services. He has a provider, New Avenues, which is paid for through the Ashtabula County Board of DD.
Okay.
As you know, we have a levy.
Yeah.
Issue 1, please vote for
Issue 1, absolutely.
Both of these receive services because of that, but he has a person that comes in his home. They take him places. They do things. What are some things you do?
What kind of things do you like to do?
I go to the mall, Walmart.
Do you really?
Yes.
You might have run into my wife. She works at the Walmart in Ashtabula, if that's where you're talking about. You may run into her once in a while.
And where do you work?
I work at ACMC.
You do?
Yes.
What do you do over there?
I'm a housekeeper there.
Really? How long have you been doing that?
5 years.
Holy mackerel. Good for you.
And PCS, which used to be Ashcraft, actually does like follow along services with him, and they were the ones that actually helped him get this job, and they're the ones that help him keep. Like, say there's a problem, and he's at work, he would be the one, they would be the one that would call his boss and try to fix everything. But he's an amazing worker.
How many folks may be helping out, like at ACMC or other places, like what Jimmy does?
I think ACMC only one right now.
Okay.
But we have there's some places at Subway. Some of our individuals work. The Spire, the YMCA, Arthur Lou Steele. Sorry.
That's right, Cameron. I know where that is. Yep, I know those folks.
And then Miss Kathy.
Well, tell me a little bit about Kathy. What's yours? What story? What kind of things do you do?
Things I do.
Where do you work?
Life skills.
And what is that? What do you do there?
Is the day have, and I'm working in the office too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
How do you like that kind of thing?
I like it.
How long have you been over there?
I've been there for
3 years, I think.
No.
Is it 3?
2 years.
Okay.
2 years.
Now, when you work with, like, say, these two and probably many others, what do you do for them, with them? What does your job entail?
Just like Kathy was saying, she works at the Day Have.
Okay.
She also, Andrea is her provider.
Okay, I got it.
So she's the one in charge of her stuff. So I, at the board, first of all, I get Kathy as a client, and if she doesn't have a provider, we find her a provider. So we have to do like a NEON search, which is we put out there, and then Kathy interviews. And then in that case, we got Andrea. So Kathy actually lives independently in the community. She pays her own rent, pays her own utilities. She lives in Ashtabula, and then Andrea's company, they are the ones that come in and help her be independent.
Wow.
So she doesn't have to live in a facility.
Okay.
She has her own privacy. She also has remote supports, which means for 2 hours on the weekends, she doesn't have staff at all. But there is like a camera system, so if she had an issue,
they can communicate.
And so they're like a staff.
No, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
She's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You like that? You like how everything works for you?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's awesome.
Good for you. Now, you here, Andrea, Gardner, tell me a little bit about Brighter Horizons. Since you are the provider, what does all that mean for us in the terms? May not know what all that means.
So as a provider, we are in Brighter Horizons is in Lake and Ashtabula County.
Okay.
So in Ashtabula, I have 29 clients that we work with.
Okay.
And so as a provider, we hire the staff to go into the home
I
and
see.
get them out in the community. So we'll do anything in their home that you would do in your own home. Getting up and helping make breakfast, going to work, packing their lunches, going out in the community, banking, shopping, medical
Wow.
appointments, and so we help them
Everyday
manage
life.
that. Everyday life. Yep, absolutely.
How did you get into that how did you get in this line of work?
I've been in here for 11 years.
Really?
And I just by chance got a job as an assistant in the office at Brighter Horizons and then worked my way through that. I helped open the day hab downstairs and the one out in Ashtabula, and then I came out to Ashtabula and just oversaw.
What do you find, since you 11 years now, what's fulfilling to you about this kind of work? What do you like about it?
I like working with the individuals. I think they teach me a ton. And, you know, we help them a lot, but I'm telling you, they help us a lot more too.
Okay, but for you, what got you into these lines of work? What did you do?
Actually, I had, this is kind of bad. I, at the time, was going to college and didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I worked at Applebee's part-time, but I needed insurance. And I started working as a bus aide at Ashcraft.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
never been in this field. I fell in love. And
It
I
just
actually,
hit you.
Yeah, I loved it. I worked as a bus aide. I would work inside all day and then go work at Applebee's at night. But I just loved it. And a position came up, and I didn't really know what it was, but it has been the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. I actually love going to work every day. They make my life so amazing. They've taught me so many things. Like, this young lady has come so far. I'm so proud of her.
How do you like to hear that? Is that pretty cool?
I like it.
Kathy and Jimmy, I'm going to put you on the spot. Tell me a little bit about Mariah that we don't know.
Oh, gosh.
She helps you out. How does she help you out with different things? How does she
She
help to you?
She comes to my house.
Okay.
Checks on me.
Make sure you're doing well?
Yes. She calls me. What's
Does she tell you to pick up your socks off the floor?
No.
I'm just teasing.
She calls my mom. And she talks to my mom.
Really?
Yes.
And I heard you were a twin.
Yes.
Brother, sister, twin brothers?
Twin
Twin
brother.
brother. He looks just like me.
I would. Well, I would hope so. That's good.
Jonathan.
What's his name?
His name is Johnny.
Jonathan. Johnny.
And he actually works at
Red River Academy.
Yes.
Oh, I know where that. Yeah, I
Yes,
know
so
that
he works
place.
there. So they're
Absolutely.
both in the community.
He has 2 jobs.
Does he?
Where else does he work?
A Lewis Supply.
And that's kind of near. I live in Ashtabula, so I know just where you're talking about. By the way, appreciate your name. My name's Jim too. 2 Jims in the room are going to kill it. We got it. Let me go back to Kathy a little bit. So, really, these folks help you out, but how do you love that independent life that you kind of are working? You take care of. I mean, that sounds like a great deal.
I love it.
What's the biggest thing you think that they help you do? Do you ever find you need them during the week, or do you pretty much do a lot of things mostly independently? How does your week go mostly?
Mostly independent.
Yeah.
You used to need me a lot more.
Yeah.
It's sort of learned to wean off a little bit.
She's learned.
Wow.
It's kind of sad on my part because I
Yeah.
have to talk to Kathy weekly. And some months I don't hear from her, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" But no, she's learned so
Well,
much.
tell me, both of you, there's got to be various levels of people, independence to non so much dependence. Tell me a little bit about how that works and what levels you help. You have a little bit of everybody from full dependence to independence, or how does this all?
Individuals I have 24-hour double staffing,
Okay.
and then I have 2 hours a day.
Okay.
That just need us to come in and
Kinda
really just
keep up with 'em.
remind and check in and, you know, get them out because transportation might be a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
They may not use AX or something.
can see that.
We can help introducing them to using the AX bus. And then, you know, but like people like Kathy who, you know, just need a little guidance, a little understanding, and they really figure it out on their own. It's pretty awesome
How
to
do
watch them grow.
folks find either the families or how do they find you for services or vice versa?
The
How does
Ashtabula
this
County Board
happen?
of Developmental
Yeah.
Disabilities, we have an intake phone number, and I can't get the phone to work, but,
Oh, okay.
does it work? It's, her
If
name is
somebody
Jody
wants to
Carroll
stay
from
and it's
intake.
okay,
They'll
say
give
the
you
number,
phone
we're
number.
fine.
But, you know, before the age of 22, you had to
Because
have
what
a
ages are you
developmental
talking with them that you work
I
with?
actually have somebody that's 4,
Okay.
and then up until, you know, end of life.
Okay.
So I have a very big range.
And same with your 20-some, are they all over the age ranges?
Yeah,
or-
I have an individual that we started with when he was 11. He's going to be 18 this year.
Okay.
So we just did respites with him out in the community, and then we started working with him.
I love live TV. It's fine. No, we're fine. Okay.
And so the hope is that he's actually going to move out into the community when he turns 18
Really?
and be independent. So that's probably the youngest I've had so far, and then up to 80.
Wow, is this 440?
Yes.
440-335, I'm just gonna make a note for myself even, 335-1546. Where am I calling to that number? What does that do for me?
You are calling the Asheville County Board of Developmental
Okay.
Disabilities. Joni R. Carroll is our intake specialist.
Right.
She'll be the one, if she's not there, just leave her a message. She'll get back to you and send you whatever you need. And then we have a gentleman, Dave Lovejoy, who's an SSA, will come out to your house and they'll evaluate.
And here's a thought I had, we had some really younger folks helping people out in the early intervention sides. Do some folks that get into your care later follow through as they age, or do you get new calls a lot of times a month or something like that? How does that work?
We have a lot of people.
Okay.
In different
That just
ways.
come in?
Yes.
Okay.
And some of them went from early intervention, which is our program for the Asheville County Board of DD,
Right.
and then some of them just continue right on
Okay.
with our services. And sometimes they don't need us until after school.
Okay.
Because usually when they're in school, the school district does a lot of their educational piece. They have an IEP in school, but once they get out of school, they both have ISPs, which I write. It's kind of like an IEP, but it's basically their life.
For life skill things
It's
kind of thing?
basically everything you need to know about Kathy and how to help Kathy or
Yeah.
me. So that is something every year, I have to do annual documentation with them. We do paperwork. I know it's so much fun, isn't it?
You love the
Write
paperwork,
all
Jim?
the stuff.
I don't
answer all
either,
my
so you can say
questions.
no, it's fine. I get it.
Actually, I think yours is coming up soon. And then throughout the year, I just
And that's some of
monitor.
the requirements legally that you
Yes.
got to keep up on
By the
everybody.
state of Ohio, yes, we have
And
to do
what
all
kind
of
of
that.
things like Brighter Horizons, what are you licensed, what are you called? What is your facility? kind
We're
of
a
thing?
licensed residential
Okay,
facility.
gotcha.
And so, we have to follow state standards with background checks, CPR, first aid, medication administration with our staff.
Okay.
And then we also provide day program that Kathy attends. And so there's a whole nother set of requirements for that with the drug screening and
Okay.
physicals and non-medical. So, it's
Well, I want to get to this because it's just moving so fast
I
this morning. And it's so fun to talk to you. I want to ask you guys this. I'm going to take that other side because you're talking about levies coming up
Yes.
on the election next Tuesday. I mean,
I
it's like
know,
here.
5 days.
Hello.
Crazy.
November tomorrow, and then the 5th Tuesday. But
Yes.
okay, I'm going to say it, but you understand why I'm saying it. I'm levied out.
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
I understand.
Why? I want you to tell me, levy one, number one. Why is this issue so important that we need to consider? Don't just do a blanket
No.
yes or no.
Let's
Think
just
through
use
it.
both of them. Their lives would be completely different if they didn't have those services. He would not have the independence or the opportunity to work in the hospital. Those things would have never happened. And the people at the hospital never would have known what it was to have Jimmy, to be amazing and work.
Yeah.
And then Kathy. Miss Kathy came from us from a facility.
Okay.
It was not a good life, was it? It was,
It's just a different life for you now.
and she would not be able to do all these things. And actually, she's going through a program she's going to try to get a job in the community as an office worker. And that's
Wow.
why she's right now working with Andrea in
Okay.
the office. But she wouldn't have that opportunity without those things.
So this levy money provides the opportunities to make life as good as it can
Correct.
be.
Just like me and you. Like all
Folks.
the opportunities that we have, it helps them get those opportunities. And we also have so many other individuals that are in need. And because this levy, this is no new money, this is the same, it is a renewal, it is just continuing
With
what
what's
we
been
have.
going on.
But in that, with us passing this, we're gonna be able to help more individuals. Because we have, I think, over 100 or some people on our waiting list.
Really? What is
So-
that when you're on that? What is that? You just
basically-
conserve X to so much and then
We can only pay
yeah.
what we can.
I gotcha.
And there are 100 more people
Can
that
you
need
say your
services.
numbers? You know, say like how many do you serve at this point?
I
or-
have 40.
Okay.
I've had up to 45. It just kind of
Okay.
fluctuates. And it's all. Okay, we have over 500
Total,
actual
and this is in our
service
county.
now.
I think you
Yes.
mentioned that off air. We got
Yes,
a couple of
sorry.
experts right over there.
My
But that's perfectly
superintendent's over
fine.
there.
But I mean, we've talked about this.
yes.
That I mean, I knew there was a big. You don't always think of the
and
number.
I think it's so key that we have not educated well in the past. And
Okay.
I know that our superintendent, Tony, has done amazing trying to get out there and say our word. And I know that you're going to see a lot more of us now, that we just need to really educate and show. Because before it was just like, oh, the Happy Hearts, Ashcraft levy, you just pass it. They didn't really know what else we did because
Right.
we didn't talk about it.
Great
It was
examples
like a
right here in
secret.
front of us today.
Yeah.
And many others just like this that you're helping all the time, up to a total of 500 folks. So think through, before you do that, just yes and the no without even think through, what does each one do? How does it help? And who are, these folks becoming so independent. Do you have anything you'd like to say before you go off today?
There's one thing that I did forget about.
What'd you forget?
What did I forget?
They, PCS, known as ASFA, they do provide transportation for people for
They do.
What's he, now, transportation?
So,
What's this
for
about?
him to get to and from work,
Oh.
transportation's kind of a thing.
Well,
We
you
don't
gotta-
have public transportation here.
I know.
We're kind of rural. He kind of lives in the country. They actually come and pick him up every morning, take him to work, make sure he gets there on time, and they pick him up and take him
So
home
you've
every
got
day.
that right
And
there
that's
and back.
part of our system.
Nice. That's pretty
Good
cool.
job.
So that's a good reminder. You did a good job. Thanks for doing that. Any thoughts maybe before we take off for today you want to share about how, your life is going now and
My life is going good.
you're looking for good thing? You want to get a
Yeah.
job out in the regular sector here and everything?
Yeah.
I hope you do well.
Thanks.
Good luck to you.
Hard work.
What would you like to tell us before we take off for today? Maybe something to just
I think-
give people a thought.
The levy is very important. It's important for me as a provider with communication with the SSAs, with as many people that are out there that do need services, and to continue providing the education and the services to us to help us grow, because we really need the support of the SSAs to continue to support our individuals. It is a team effort, and we really, it's important for all of us, for sure.
Last thought, what do we need to know out there from you?
Just remember these two faces. I mean, there are so many more, and I know that throughout everyone's life, you have met some of our people. You may not have realized it, and just the opportunities that they have, and just how important it is to all the families, all the help they get. And I would really like to thank all the providers and all the families and everybody who have been there and supporting all of them all this time, because without all of them, we wouldn't be what we are.
Well, Jimmy, Mariah, Kathy, and Andrea, thank you for making time on our show
Issue
today.
1, don't forget.
Issue 1, renewal,
Asheville County Board of DD.
renewal levy. So nothing new, renewal,
Yes.
issue 1, keep it first on your list. It's number 1. So just remember that when you go out next Tuesday. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
And thank you guys for coming on and sharing today. I really loved having you here.
So we'll come back sometime.
Now that you're a star, I don't know what we're going to do with you now. Good job. We'll see you tomorrow for more Sunrise Live. We'll finish up our week. November 1st, October's done, so make the best out of today, Conneaut. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye for now.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Conneaut City Council meeting to order for October 28, 2019. And at this time, ask Ms. Connell to please call the roll.
City Manager, Mr. Hockaday.
Here.
Finance Director, Mr. Williams.
Here.
Law Director, Mr. Smith.
Here.
Council President, Mrs. Newcomb.
Present.
Mr. Emery.
Here.
Mr. Garrix.
Here.
Mr. Kozeski.
Here.
Mrs. McVoy.
Here.
Mr. Prokowski.
Present.
Mr. Shamford.
Present.